welcome everyone to Community, a live storytelling event.
The Trinitonian started what will hopefully become a new campus tradition this year on Student Press Freedom Day. 5 student storytellers headlined the event, sharing their own personal stories as a part of the celebration and reminder of the significance of student press freedom. She sat down and talked with us about the process and significance of this event, including applying for and receiving an Englehart First Amendment grant for funding, and the inspiration that came from her hometown.
I'm Lauren. I'm a senior communication major at Trinity and the Pulse section editor for the Trinitonian, which is a student-run newspaper here. And for my capstone, my senior communication capstone, I am doing some audience engagement stuff for the paper. And so part of that was getting a live storytelling event off the ground for the newspaper. And that happened back in February, and it was a really, really great event.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about how you got the idea for that event.
So I am from Spokane, Washington, which is a pretty tight-knit community, and one of my high school teachers actually held live storytelling events in Spokane, and they were always these really big things, and they were really cool. And back in October, I went to the National College Media Convention in New Orleans with the Trinitonian, and there was this group that was talking about why your paper should have a PR team. And one of the things that they talked about was putting on these live events for the paper, for their paper. And I thought, wouldn't it be so cool if I could combine this event that happens in my hometown with a PR project for the Trinitonian. And so I talked to the Trinitonian's advisor, Daniel. He was super supportive, and that was kind of how we got this event off the ground.
Awesome. And so tell me a little bit more about the process of setting up for this event. What were the steps you had to take to make sure everything would go smoothly day of?
Yeah, so back in October or early November, we applied for an Englehart First Amendment grant. So with the idea of putting on this event on Student Press Freedom Day. So we ended up securing an Englehart First Amendment grant to put this event on, which we're very grateful for, and we wanted to put this event on Student Press Freedom Day. And so we knew we wanted about 5 different storytellers to tell around 8-minute stories just about kind of anything. We just wanted to give people a platform to share their voice in a manner where they could feel like their voice was heard. And that's kind of what we want. That's what we want the community to see that the paper is here for, and so that was kind of the mission there. And so I reached out to tons of people. I reached out to, in first semester of this year, I reached out to people who had put on storytelling events on campus and talked to them about what their experience was like. And then when second semester came along, I began marketing the event, doing open calls for storytellers, and I reached out to so many people. I reached out to almost every single org on this campus, asking if they knew of people who would be interested in participating, kind of giving a pitch of what the event was going to be like. And we ended up getting 5 people, which I'm so, so grateful to all of them. They're all amazing. And I met with them 3 or 4 times leading up to the event, where we had initial meetings to talk about what their stories were going to be like, and then we had kind of rough draft meetings, and then we had meetings with Dr. Mario Gonzalez, who's a storytelling professor on this campus. He teaches brand storytelling for the marketing department, and he was super amazing and helpful. And then we had a dress rehearsal, and then the event, and it went super well, and they did such great work.
Talk to me about the significance of putting the event on this specific date.
Yeah, so Thursday, February 27th was Student Press Freedom Day, which is a day put on by the Student Press Law Center every year, and it's this day to kind of call attention to the extra hurdles that student journalists face when it comes to their First Amendment rights on their college campuses. And so we wanted this event to highlight our paper's presence on this campus, while also highlighting the fact that we are here as a platform to give students and the community as a whole the ability to share their voice. And so that was kind of the lens that we were looking at this event through. And this grant really gave us the ability to put that on and get that message across.
What is your hope for this event going forward? What do you see for it in the future, even like once you graduate?
Yeah, so I would love it if this event continued year after year after year. I would love it if this was something that happened every Student Press Freedom Day. But I think that live storytelling events are really powerful, and the ones that happen in my hometown, they're about anything and everything, and they happen, I think, quarterly or maybe even once every couple months. And so I would love it if there was a live storytelling event potentially even once a semester on this campus, because I think that's a really, really great way to kind of get the message out about what the paper does and what the paper is here for in a very fun and entertaining way.